Hey yo, what is good, y'all? I'm Malcolm McFadden, Career 615 Comics, and you're watching another episode of Yo and Nerd Podcast, and we are at the Jordan episode 23, y'all. And first and foremost, I'd like to thank y'all for watching and supporting the podcast. The people that watch and comment, I'd like to thank y'all, and also to future supporters, I'd like to thank y'all too. And for my future supporters, please like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Tell your friends about me, bro. On this podcast, I just talk about different stuff in the nerd universe, just comics, movies, whatever, anime, just different stuff that I see that's interesting. Twitter topics is always a thing on this show. But yeah, I talk about different things within the nerd universe, and we're at episode 23. So if you haven't watched the other episodes, I talked about a bunch of stuff. So please watch those too. But as always, I got a good episode for y'all today. Of course, some topics that I want to talk about, and we typically do a lot of talking about black superheroes, definitely. So I want to talk about some black heroes. I got some screenshot of something that I want to share with y'all. Okay, so as you know, black heroes are a big topic for me because I love black heroes. But it's a big topic with their comic book sales, their support, DC and Marvel, how they push them and stuff like that. So that's what I want to talk about here. And I have a comment from Kevin Grievous. I'm not sure if I say his name right. If you don't know him, he is the creator of Blue Marvel, and he's also created Underworld. He was also in the Underworld movies. He was the big black guy with the deep voice that was one of the werewolves. He also was one of the writers for Underworld and also wrote an Underworld comic. And like I say, he created Blue Marvel for Marvel, which is a hero that they severely underused. But there was this post on Facebook, and it was basically like Storm kissing Wolverine, and then it was also Storm punching Black Panther, right? And then kind of got topic of like how black characters are handled in DC and Marvel, and he posted this comment. Okay, this is his words right here. Okay, let's be careful. None of the black characters at Marvel and DC that we've known and loved over the years have been created by black folks. Storm is now like Black Widow, the Wasp, Sue Storm, She-Hulk, Carol Danvers, Jane Foster, etc., who puts out to several heroes just to satisfy the whims of the writers. So there's that. Secondly, we've got black writers from outside the comic book culture who stepped in and redefined Wakanda and the citizens to be just as vile, corrupt, and immoral as the outside world. Now anything goes, and you have black men and black women disrespecting each other for entertainment. This is why I support more of us doing our own independent comics. Then we wouldn't get this nonsense because there would be a price to pay for doing so. But they know we're addicted to these corporate characters, so we come back again and again for more abuse. But still, our hands aren't clean. We are practically to blame for this madness. Woo, woo. Kevin Grievous said a lot, bro. He said a lot in that post. And I want to put something on that too, piggyback off that. I watched the video about this creator. Watched the video do this. He was actually watched this video by this creator. Sorry. He was actually promoting indie comics too. And shouts to that post. I wish I remember who posted it, but shouts to that creator because he also shouted me out in the indie comics. But he was saying majority of black characters from DC and Marvel aren't even created by black people. He said there was like 3 in Marvel that were actually created by black people, and Blue Marvel, created by Kevin Grievous, was one of them. Even Miles Morales wasn't created by a black person. And then when you go to Shuri was one that was created. I can't remember who else. But then when you go in DC, it goes a lot less. I think pretty much only in DC the milestone characters are created by black people, and we never get to see them, and that may be one of the reasons. But I very much agree, even as a fan of DC and Marvel who buys the black heroes and stuff like that, I very much agree with what Kevin had to say. These aren't black companies, black creators, black artists handling these characters. Like, these are DC and Marvel are owned by white creators, white artists, white writers, and they have their own agendas. They push what they want to push, and sometimes we definitely get pushed to the back burner. Like sometimes our stories get pushed to the back burner. If he mentioned the Black Panther comics, which I mentioned in the very last pod, about how they tried to turn Wakanda more into like the United States of America than what it should be and what it has always been. Um, I think these create a problem. They're like, especially like, let's also talk about the Black Panther runs. One of my biggest problems, even with one of the black writers that took on the Black Panther, was that a lot of his runs were centered around white characters. Christopher Priest, a lot of his run was from the point of view of Agent Ross. He also created a white character to be the brother of T'Challa, who ended up trying to take over Wakanda at some point, and then he just has the new one where T'Challa has a white kid that he adopted is trying to take over Wakanda. Like they've done a lot, even even some black writers have done a lot of to downgrade some of these stories that we love, and that wouldn't happen if they were taken over by independent companies. Like these independent stories, I don't see these independent stories where a black king is getting taken over by a white character, because like Kevin said, there would be a price to pay for doing so. There would be a price to pay if a black character, if a black creator was doing these things, people literally just wouldn't buy their book. But since DC and Marvel are giving us stuff like the worlds to come for Black Panther, people just run and buy because that's what Marvel is putting out. Like when there are indie creators that are putting out much better books than the worlds to come, than the world to come that's being put out by Marvel right now. And I say that confidently. There's a lot better indie comic book black characters that is way better than the Black Panther, the world to come storyline right now. Easily. But I've always said this: if we're looking to black characters, we need to go the independent route. I keep saying this. I keep saying, even if you put your money towards these characters for DC and Marvel, they could just not give you these characters. I keep saying that Jace Fox the Jace Fox Batman, I Am Batman, was in the top 50 selling comics, and we don't even see anything from him, bro. I think his series ended at like 20 or 19 or something like that, where Green Arrow, his series is allowed to go to issue 31, and the sales have been abysmal. They've been in hell. Like the sales have been bad. Flash is getting 2 new series. He does not sell. Lately his books have not been selling, but he's getting 2 brand new series going forward where Jace Fox doesn't, and Mr. Terrific may not even get a series after this, after his year 1 series, and he's selling better than Green Arrow and the Flash. You feel me? So like, the whole point is, I think we really need to look more. I've been trying to say in these groups and everything, we need to look more to these indie heroes, because we keep clamoring for DC and Marvel to give us more black heroes. We keep clamoring for DC to give us the Milestone universe for real. But there is a creator out there right now making that Milestone universe for you that you can go check out, that doesn't have the backing of a DC and Marvel, that just needs fan support. You feel me? And that's why I really like what Kevin had to say. I keep messing up his names, that's why I don't say it, but I really like that's what he had to say about comic books and what happens with these heroes. Because even in the Storm main book, there's a black writer taking on Storm that loves Storm, is doing great with Storm. All right, it's doing great with Storm, and I feel like Marvel really should put that in the forefront. But that's just I think this just comes back to, if we want our stories, if we want more representation, we need to go to our people for them, and not DC and Marvel. Their cash cows are Spider-Man, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. These are characters that they're their cash cows. These are characters that they love and really put a lot behind. They don't do that for our characters. And that's one thing I really wish, that like a big group of rich black people would just buy some of these characters, like will buy Black Panther from Marvel. I wish somebody would go buy Milestone from under DC, bro. Like I just wish like Jay-Z or something would come in and swoop in with a whole group of them. But hey, but until something like that happens, we need to put more emphasis on these indie creators. Image has a bunch of, with Rodney Barnes, like the Philadelphia, Not a Hall's Nightmare blog. Like has another one that's coming out called Crownsville. Like we need to put more behind these black creators and black writers and black artists, these independent ones. And Kevin said it, a bunch of people are saying it, and you keep seeing results of why we should. Look at where Black Panther is right now in comics. This is why we should support more indie, because they're not going to really ever actually give us what we want ever. We'll never actually get full on what we want from DC and Marvel in terms of our black characters, and that's just that's just facts. That's just facts. Let's just be honest. But tell me what y'all think about it. Do y'all agree with Kevin had to say? I 100% agree with it. I 100% agree with everything he had to say. But let me know what y'all think in the comments. Okay, you guys. Next up, I want to talk about what's going on in Marvel Comics. All right. So I got my computer because I needed this stuff. All right. But Marvel, in what seems to be, what is this? I think next year, I think July next year, they have something called Armageddon coming out. It's like this big event within the Marvel universe, and it has a lot to do with the Ultimate Universe right now. So, if you didn't know, Miles returns home from with an origin box in Ultimate Spider-Man Incursion, because he went over to the Ultimate Universe, and he comes back with this origin box. Right now, this origin box has like the secret identities and powers that were stolen from heroes by the maker in the Ultimate Universe, which is how we get like a different stuff in the Ultimate Universe. And then Miles brings this back. Now, speculation is that it's going to go in the wrong hands, and it's going to cause this big old war between characters in the Marvel Universe. But people are also speculating that this could be like a type of reboot. All right. And in this article, it says that mostly Marvel tries to stay away from reboots, kind of like how DC had with New 52 or Crisis on Infinite Earth. But they try to stay away from reboots. One of the main reboots is the Secret War that brought Miles over to Earth 616. You feel me? But people are thinking that this could be a whole new reboot for the Marvel universe, especially since it's called Armageddon. And I kind of think this could be. I think you're seeing things that could. Black Panther doesn't have an ongoing right now. Miles maybe getting a relaunch. There's been talks with like X-Men. This is more so fans with X-Men, kind of a lot of stuff has gone on with X-Men, kind of starting point for X-Men, which I think this could be something where Marvel does kind of like a soft launch kind of like New 52 or something like that. I think this could be where Marvel does something like that with the Armageddon that's coming out. And it's being written by Chip Zdarsky. He's done did a whole bunch with Daredevil. He did the Devil Reign series. So we'll see where this goes, but people are saying that this could be a relaunch for Marvel Comics. And man, I want to see what happens with this. Like, will they be combining universes again? Will things from the Ultimate Universe come over to this universe? Because we know the Ultimate Universe is ending. Yeah, there's a lot that could be going on with Marvel Comics, and I think we've seen DC kind of overtake them with sales and creativity. So I think this could be something. Oh, this comes out in June 2026. I'm sorry, but I think this could be Marvel's rebuttal to like how DC has the Absolute Universe and doing stuff with that. I think them ending the Ultimate Universe kind of also speaks to that. Yeah, but this could be something good for Marvel. If you're a Marvel fan, then this should be something you can look forward to. I think this could be a nice relaunch. I'm always for relaunch. I'd like for them to give a place where new readers can start on from a brand new series, brand new number one, and go from there. You feel me? I think, especially with comic sales up right now, I think this is a great time to do a relaunch, give people a place to start, and then go from there. Like, I think that would be a great idea. But hey, we're looking like we may get a Marvel Comics relaunch with Armageddon. Tell me how y'all feel about that. Summer 2026 could be a big year for Marvel, so let's see what happens with that. Since we're talking about Marvel, what is up with the MCU, yo? What is up with the MCU? And what sparked this? I gotta find it. But what sparked this for me was this picture I saw. All right, it's this picture. It says on Twitter, "Who is the current lead of the MCU?" All right, and it shows a couple things. It shows Reed Richard from the New Fantastic Four, Loki, Doctor Strange, Monica Rambeau, Tony Stark in the Doom mask, Spider-Man, my girl White Widow. I don't know if that's what she's going by, but she was in Thunderbolts. I still need to watch that. Wanda, which pretty sure she's dead, but she may come back, and then Captain Falcon America. All right. All right. Captain American Falcon, whatever you want to call him, Captain America, Sam Wilson's Falcon. All right, and then I was looking at this, and I was like, what is up with the MCU? Because really, who should be leading probably should be Sam Wilson, probably should be one of the leaders, but there's not definitive that he is the leader. Maybe Doctor Strange. I remember when they were showing at the end of Shang-Chi, I believe, when they was like Doctor Strange, Captain Marvel, we're talking about the 10 rings. I think Captain Marvel definitely should be a lead of the MCU or the Avengers or whatever team they're doing, but you don't really know. And that's why it brought me to this. You don't really know who's the lead of MCU. We don't really know where it's headed, but we know where it's headed. You feel me? We got it's coming up Doomsday, Secret Wars, all that, but it still feels like we don't actually with the most recent MCU projects, we don't really know where this stuff is actually headed. For it seems like they're creating a championship champions team or young Avengers type team. We haven't really seen anything of that possibly connecting or anything. It kind of seems like Marvel right now kind of seems like where DC was after it went away from Zack Snyder, and it kind of just was throwing stuff at the wall, like getting Birds of Prey, Shazam, Black Adam, and just stuff that doesn't really stick. And that kind of seems like what MCU is doing right now. It's like, what are we doing, MCU? What are we doing? Like, where are we going? Because I feel like at one point MCU was doing so great. I loved it when they had like their street level stuff, like with the Netflix stuff, where they're kind of trying to bring that back with the TV shows. But it seemed like the Netflix street level stuff was done so much better than what they're doing now, even with having Daredevil. Oh, and Daredevil got a new suit. Wherever I think I put him right here. That suit is fire. The new Daredevil suit, I love the black suit. It's my favorite Daredevil suit. I'm glad they brought it back. But Daredevil is one of the shining things in the MCU right now. But yeah, it just seems like we know what MCU is headed, but we don't really know what MCU is headed, and that's kind of weird to me, especially with Marvel had did a good job, but even with like the first phase, like we kind of knew where things were headed and kind of where it kind of would connect. We could see that, and we can't really see that with this, which is why I think a lot of fans are mad what they're doing. It doesn't really seem no direction. The projects aren't as good. You feel me? Which I always thought MCU kind of was always a little bit watered down, but it seems like they've watered and watered and watered and watered down. You feel me? That joint is drowning. But yeah, it's like, where are we headed with MCU? What is going on with the MCU? But I think right now, with me saying all this, I just thought about this. It seems like they're kind of going back to the drawing board. I think they put out a lot of projects and all that. But I think they're going back to the drawing board and kind of honing it in, wanting to make better projects and making a better universe, which I think they'll do that from now on instead of trying to put out so many projects, but put out more quality and quantity. And I think that's what we're kind of getting a break from the MCU right now. And I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to how they bring the X-Men into this and the X-Men universe, how that expands into a cinematic universe. Especially since we've already had a whole universe go and without the X-Men. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, just kind of wondering, where is the MCU going next? What is up? You feel me? But tell me what y'all think. Where do y'all think the MCU is headed? Okay, so a couple little things I want to talk about within the nerd universe, coming with some topics. Real quick, we just got Godzilla Minus Zero, which is a sequel to Godzilla Minus One. The little teaser came out, and you don't really see anything. It's just a small little teaser saying that this movie is being made and coming out. But I'm excited for that because Godzilla Minus One was dope, did numbers, and did with numbers with a low budget. So you knew they was gonna get another one, and then this one may get a bigger budget, and then who knows what's gonna happen with this, bro. I just like I like that, we're getting back into the monster movies and stuff like that. There's a Wolfman movie that I gotta watch. I think it's on Paramount or Peacock that I gotta watch. But I love the big time monster movies, and I hope we really get back to like some of the big time monster movies and just being good. I felt like King Kong versus Godzilla kind of was more so comical and wasn't like really. It was kind of like, let's just put these monsters together and like just see what happens. Where I think we can get more better quality monster movies. You get what I'm saying? But the teaser for that just came out, and I can't wait to see the actual trailer for that. Couple of things to look out for. November 12th, November 12th on that comic book day. Old Man Static is back in the comics. We got a little preview of Old Man Static with a little with some with Batman Beyond, but now we're getting a full little mini series of it. So we'll see. It'll be Batman Beyond teaming up with the future Static, which we get Old Man Static content, which I'm happy for. We're getting some Static content. Please pre-order this book. Go out and buy this book. Support this book in any way, shape, or form. Buy it digitally because we love Static. Everybody loves Static. Static is probably one of the most popular black heroes that they just don't seem to use. We already know Milestone and DC have their, issues, their problems using whatever, using the Milestone universe. But man, Old Man Static is coming, and we get more content from that. So and he's teaming up with Batman Beyond. So I'm expecting this book to sell. I'm expecting this book to sell. You got Static and Batman Beyond teaming together. I'm expecting this book to sell. And all you Terry McGinnis fans that were trashing Miles Morales better come out for this book. Y'all were trashing Miles all that time just for Terry not to even be the Batman Begins on the Mr. Terrific team. We could talk about that too. But it being Tim Drake, y'all did all that talking and saying that Terry McGinnis is better than Miles, he's better sus than Miles, la da 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 da. You feel me? So y'all better come out for this book. That's all I'm gonna say. Be on the lookout for that. Um, Also, DCKO is continuing. Nightfalls comes out, I think, what will be the week? I think November 5th would be the day. Yeah, November 5th. I think that day will pass by the time y'all see this video. So the Batman Nightfall, not Nightfall, I can't remember what to call it, but Batman's connected story to the DCKO story will be out, and then you got to stick up with the DCKO. I'm trying to see what happens with all these fights. They keep releasing who wins in fights, and I don't understand why they do that. Like, we know who wins in round 2 now, which I told you I was gonna win in round 1. I'm not gonna do that for round 2, but I don't get why they're doing that. But hey, be on the lookout for more of that. That should be really dope. Um, And for today, that's kind of all I got for y'all for this episode of Yo a Nerd. I really wanted to make this more so about the black characters topic that I started out with. And all the other topics are also important with like Marvel starting over. Where's the MCU going? Definitely the Static. But that's all I really got for y'all for this episode of Yo a Nerd, episode 23, the Jordan episode. Please, I really want to talk about this black characters and independent comics. This is a topic that is really important to me, especially with me being an indie comic book creator. But I think it's also important for us as readers and fans and just black stories in general. So this is something I really think we should talk about. And that's why there weren't too many other crazy topics. I really wanted everything just to be kind of about what the topic I started off with. So uh, let's talk about that. Let's talk about these topics. Let's talk about especially about black heroes. So hit me up in the comments. Please like, comment, subscribe to the channel. And as I always say, tell your friends about me. All right. Tell any nerds you know to come watch the Yo a Nerd podcast. All right. And I thank y'all for watching and supporting. This has been episode 23. I'm Malcolm McFadden, Career 615 Comics. Peace.